Yeah, good morning everyone. Myself Mohan. Today I am going to teach chapter number 4, sorting materials into groups. See, if we are going to any shops, suppose if you want to purchase in the market, so if you are visiting any provisional stores, okay, so you can see that the things are arranged in the groups. Suppose if you are going to the shops, so what things we can see? Suppose if you want to purchase a Colgate, okay, so all Colgates, whatever that means, different paste are there, like a Colgate brand or Close-Up brands, okay, or whatever the brands, so that all the Colgates they will be, keep it on one particular place. So if you are going to that, if you are purchasing soaps are in another, the groups they will arrange in a groups. So if you purchase the rice, or if you want to purchase some grains, so all grains are they will keep it at one particular place. So whichever the shops you go, okay, the provisional stores, either any of the shops if you are going, so all the things they make into a groups, okay. So that means they will arrange in a groups, okay. So on what basis they are arranging a groups? Based on certain similarities. Suppose if I want to purchase a biscuits, okay, so that if I go to that shopkeeper, okay, so if I am asking particular biscuits, so all the biscuits are at one racks, suppose if your Britannia biscuit is one, means they will keep, Good Day biscuit is one, Parle biscuit is another. So that means all biscuits they will keep it, because the brands are different, but it having the similar properties, right? So like that, if you are purchasing paste, it's another rack. Okay, if you are purchasing some other things, it is another rack. So all the shops they arrange the materials or object in a systematic ways. That means in a group wise they will arrange that. So that why I am telling these things, because we need to understand that this chapter, especially sorting materials into groups, that first why they are making a groups. Okay, so either in the shops, either in the market, why they are making a groups? That is the questions. Because we are making a groups based on the similarities and the differences. Okay, based on some certain similarities we made that one group. Based on the another similarities we made the another group. Based on the another similarities from the objects and materials we made that another groups. Like that, based on some properties we are making the groups. Okay, why we are making the groups? Because the things are easily getting, or the things are easily we can go through it, or the things we can easily study about their properties and everything. So if you are making all the things, if you are gathered, so then it will becomes very tough to get the things. Okay, so in the class 6, the sorting materials into group, sorting materials into groups, So the chapter 4, sorting materials into groups. That means we will going to understand what is meaning about this sorting materials into groups. Sorting materials into group means in our surroundings there are wide varieties of objects are there, wide varieties of materials are there. These objects and materials based on certain characteristics, properties, based on certain behavior, nature, okay, we will going to make it groups, okay, because in huge things which are present in our surroundings, so that all the things if you want to study, so we require classifications. If you are going through classification means based on similar characteristics or properties we will going to make a one group, and based on another similarities I will make into another groups, like that. Okay, so based on the criteria we will going to classify that whatever the materials and objects which are present in our surroundings. So on what basis we are going to study, on what basis we are going to separate it, that is what we will going to study in this chapter. Okay, so we are studying whatever the materials or objects, those objects and materials we will going to make into a separate groups based on certain properties. So on what properties we will going to make the groups, that is what a very interesting things we will going to learn in that sorting materials into group chapters. Okay, hope so everybody understand that introduction about sorting materials into groups. Okay, now let us first we will understand. Okay, and certain properties and certain nature we will going to make the groups. That's fine. So first of all, we need to understand what is object. What do you mean by object? What do you mean by object? Okay, so object means what? Suppose object means, suppose this pen. Pen is object and material. The question is coming to that. Suppose I am going to take one example. Suppose pen. Pen is an object or material. How we can classify? How we can distinguish? How we can define objects? Suppose see, if pen, if you want to see, the pen is made by many things. Means if you want to prepare or make a pen, we require what? We require plastic. Okay, that pen tip will be there, that is metal, and ink is necessary. Okay, so if you want to make a pen, we require plastics, metal and ink. So what are these plastics, metal and ink? So these basically can call it as materials. That means any objects if you want to make, you require materials. So how we can define objects? Okay, objects are to make an objects we require materials. Okay, so how we can define that object? What is an object means? Objects are to prepare an objects, materials are necessary. Any objects. So pen, I will call it as an object because pen is made up of with the plastics, metal and ink. So that means pen is an object. Okay, so if you are using materials and preparing something, that we can call it as object. Okay, so next, then coming to that materials. Then what is materials? What is material? Material means the things which is necessary to make an object. Okay, so that we can call it as materials. The things requires to make an object. To make an object is known as material. Okay, that means which things is necessary to make an object, that things we can call it as material. Suppose example of material, you can see example like plastic is a material. You can call it as plastic is a material. Okay, then metal is a material. Okay, then you can call it as ink is also a material because ink is used to make an object. Okay, then cement. See, certain things you can call it as materials as well as objects. Suppose cement you can call it as materials as well as object because if you want to prepare cement, you require limestone and they will add some other chemicals in it and then they will prepare the cement. So cement, and that cement it is used for making the buildings. So then cement is called it as object as well as materials. Okay, and cotton is also we can call it as material because using cotton we can make into numerous of things. Okay, like that you can take bricks you can call it as objects as well as material. Okay, so also you will understand what is objects and what is material. Okay, so materials means what? The things which required to make an object is known as material. Example, plastics, metal, ink, cement, cotton, bricks and etc. Many things you can list in numerous of materials are available in our surroundings, and using those materials we can make an object. Okay, so what is an object? Objects are made up of with materials. What is an object? Objects are made up of with material. Made up of materials. Objects are made up of material. What is an object? Objects are made up of materials. Okay. So pen is an object. Why? Because pen is made by plastics, metal and wood. So I will take some more example of that to understand that. Okay. Suppose you can take that example. Another example we will take. We will going to take that table. Books we can take. Books. I will call it as books is an object. Books we will call it as an object. Why book is an object is, suppose if you want to make a books, what is required? You require paper. Paper is necessary to make a books. And next, what else is required? A transparent polythene sheet is necessary for covering it. So transparent plastic polythene or transparent or translucent, that is your choice, whatever they want, they can use it. Okay, then it's required pin. Okay, because that for joint purpose, the pin is pin. Okay, so these are minimum things. Paper is necessary, transparent polythene, and that is also another kind of paper is, and then pin. So these are the main things is necessary to make a books. So that's why you can see paper is a material, transparent polythene is a material, pin is a material. So that means so this book is made by many materials, more than one materials are used. Suppose any things which are made up of more than one material, such kind of things we can object. Another way of defining. Suppose if you want to define it, what is object means? Okay, the things which are made up of with more than one material. The things which are made up of more than one material. More than one material. Then we can call it as object. Okay, how we can define? The things which are made up of more than one material, such kind of things we can call it as objects. So, okay, pen is an object, book is an object, okay, table is an object, because you can take example of table. You can see what is table is made up of. So table is made up of with wood, okay, and they used to stick that wood. They are using Fevicol. Then they use that nails, that metals they are using. Nails are made by metals. So that means you can see that if you want to make a simple table, you require wood, Fevicol and metals. So that wood is a material and Fevicol is a material and metals also a material. So a table we can call it as objects. A books we can call it as an object. Pen is an object. Okay. So hope so everyone is understanding what is an object. Is it clear? So objects are the things which are made up of more than one material. Such kind of things we can call it as objects. Pen, books, table, chair. Okay, you can give innumerable examples. Okay, even I can say that my clock is also an object. Okay, so you can give that a duster. You can take this duster. So suppose this duster, you can say this is also an object. Why? Because this duster is made by, this is the cotton. Okay, and the plastic they are used and the gum they are used. So that this is an also called it as object. Okay. So you have an idea about that what is an object now. So now, okay. So you got a clear idea about objects and materials. Okay. So after understanding about that objects and materials. Materials means what? Just now I told you na. So just we will take out that what we have studied. If you want to understand that sorting materials into group, first we need to understand what is object and what is a material, and example of objects and example of material. So what we have studied now? So materials means what? Materials are the things which is necessary to make an object. Any object if you want to make, so materials are mandatory. Without materials, we cannot prepare any objects. Okay, so example of material, we have seen that plastic is a material, metal is a material, cement is a material, okay, and bricks is a material, okay, soil is a material, okay, stone is a material, okay. So you can list numerous of example of materials. Okay, so we understand objects, we understand materials. So now I will take some example. So I will take some objects. Example, I am going to take some objects. Okay, suppose I am taking that. What objects we can take in our surroundings? We can take notice board. Okay, so in the classroom itself we can take that some material object. Notice board. Notice board I am going to take. Okay, and second things I am going to take fan. Fan I am taking that. Notice board is an object. Fan is also an object. And I am going to take geometry box. Geometry box. Okay. Or else you can take that other things. You can take that rather than geometry box. You can take it some of the things. Windows. You can see that. Windows also object. Windows. So 3 objects I have taken. So let us we can find out how many materials are used to make these objects. Okay, I am going to here I will write materials. Okay, let us we will going to be see that suppose these are the objects. Okay, so we can take that. These are the objects I have taken. Now notice board. If you want to make notice board, okay, so what are the things are necessary? One is that this notice board, if you want to take that, or this is whiteboard. If you take notice board, what is required? One is that cardboard sheet. Cardboard sheet. Okay, so that either some of the notice board they are using plastic as an, that coated means outer the boundary line is made by some of the plastic or some of they are using wood. So you can use either plastic or wood. You can use either plastics or wood. You can use it plastics or wood. जो भी आप use कर सकते हैं. Okay, next you can see that notice board with that cotton cloths they are using, yeah, or carpet types, whatever that. So at least simple cotton they are using cotton cloths because to stick on it. Okay, so cardboard sheet is necessary. Then plastic or wood, some of the thermocol also they are using. Some of the people are using thermocol also. Thermocol. So if you make a simple notice board, they require cardboard sheet, plastic or wood or cotton cloths and thermocol. This is sufficient. Means any notice board commonly we can identify this. So this notice board made by cardboard is a material, plastic is a material, wood is also material, cotton is also material and thermocol also. So these are the materials are used. Suppose if you want to identify the fan. Okay, fans are made by that, the plates, the fan plates are made by metals. Okay, then wires are connected, that the wires is coated with the insulator, so that means the plastic only they are using, plastic. And then what else it will be there apart from that? That metal only means nails are there, and you can list out that, means it will come under the category of metal only. Okay, plastic are using and metals are using. Hope so this much only they are going to use it. Okay, so that means it is made by metals and plastics. If it takes windows, so there are variety kind of windows are there. So if you are suppose wooden windows, if you want to see that, so what are the things they are using? They are using wood. Okay, and nails are made up of with metals. Okay, and Fevicol they might have used. Fevicol. Okay, so that means windows are made by wood, metals, Fevicol, etc. Okay, understood? So that means we have just we have taken some example of objects, and we have seen what are the different kind of materials are used to make an object. Okay, that is what we have seen that. Now suppose now I will take some certain materials. Now I am going to take certain materials. Certain materials means I am going to take wood. Okay, these are materials. I am going to take certain materials. Wood is there. Okay, so now I am taking some materials like wood. I was taken that. Okay, next cotton is a material. Cotton is a material. Okay, so if you want to take another like wood is a material, cotton is a material. Okay, then you can take plastic. Plastic is a material. Okay, then leather is a material. So I was taken 4 materials: wood, cotton, plastic, leather. Okay, now if you want to make some objects from wood, okay, if you want to going to make some object from the wood, what are the objects we can make from the wood? We can make using wood. We can make table. Yes, we can make using wood. We can make a table. So using wood we can make it into a chair, and using wood you can make it into a desk, okay, and so on. You can make it numerous things. The 3 things I was listed. Using wood we can make it into a table, chair, desk, okay, and many other items we can, some articles also we can make it from the wood. Now using cotton, what are the objects we can make? So what are the objects we can make from the cotton? Pillows we can make, okay, pillow, okay, pillows we can make, and then you can make into, you know, the bandage purpose we can make bandage, okay, and then cotton cloths we can make cloths, etc. Like you can take plastics. From plastic also we can make into a numerous of things. Okay, plastic is a material. We can make into some object like, you know, as it is used as a plastic wire. Wire we can make from the plastic. Okay, and the plastic is used to make books, magazine purpose we can use it. Okay, chair we can make into a chair. And it's automobile parts. Many of the, you know, vehicles, it is used as an automobile parts also we can make it. Okay, so that is also we can use to make from the plastics. Suppose if you want to take another material, like I am going to take leather. Leather is also a material. So from leather, what are the things we can make? We can make into a belt we can make. Okay, so then shoes, slippers we can make, and then sandals we can make, and leathers what we can make first. Okay, wallets we can make, and bags we can make, leather bags we can make. So you can see that wood, cloth, plastic and leather, these are the material. Using these material we can make into varieties of objects. Okay, so hope so everybody having very clear idea about what is object and what is material. Understood? The final time I am going to recall what is an object and what is a material. Please pay attention. And objects are the things which are made up of with more than one material. Objects are the things which are made up of more than one material. Example, a pen is an object, okay, table is an object, chair is an object, geometry box is an object, okay, and you can see that a desk is an object, okay. So coming to the materials. Materials means the things is needed to make an object is known as material. Example, a wood, a cotton, cloth, plastics, leather, okay, these are the things are materials. But remember one thing, as certain things are there, you are so confused whether it's an object or material. Okay, suppose I told you cement. Cement, you can call it as either objects or material. Why? Because the cements which is made up of with limestones and other chemicals are used to make that. In that way, if you want to see, a cement is an object. But using cement, they will going to construct the buildings. Then you can consider as a material. So in what aspects we are taking the things, so based on that, we can say that whether it's an object or whether it's a material. Okay, like that, one more things you can take, like example of one more things like plastics. Okay, plastics, when you are going to be a polythene bag, if you consider a polythene bag is an object. Okay, because it's used that it's made that you can call it as materials also because it's purely it's made by plastics. Okay, and but you know, in certain books and all, they are using that you know, the polythene as you know, the surface coating. Then it is considered as material. Okay, in that point of view, I was said that same way if you are going to take certain materials are there, you can based on the situation you can call it as materials as well as object. Okay, so hope so you understand what is material and what is object. So next we will going to study about a classification of objects and materials, because in our surrounding most of the non-living things are considered as either it's an object or it's a material. So a huge number of objects and materials which are present in our surrounding. So those materials and objects we will going to classify. Okay, what do you mean by classification? Classification means we are making groups. So how we can make a groups? Based on certain similarities and certain dissimilarities. Okay, that means differences. Based on the differences and based on the similarities, we will going to make a groups. So let us, we will going to make a groups. That means we will going to make a classification of materials and objects which are present in our surroundings. Okay, so we can do that.